All right, hi everybody. Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, this file is five 5,471 lines long. I put it through a how long it would take to read estimator at some point, and I got around 60 minutes. 60 minutes. So we should probably be twice that. Honestly, I'm gonna get distracted, but we need to start. So I guess we'll start with line one. Using system, oh, can I not scroll with the arrow keys? Okay. And that's annoying. Okay. Using system.collections, using system.collections.generic, using monocle, using microsoft.xna.framework, using using microsoft.xna.framework.input, namespace Celeste, tracked, public class player, actor, hashtag region constraints, public static, let me F11 here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. This one. F12? Nope. There we go. public static particle type p underscore dash a, public static particle type p underscore dash b, public static particle type p underscore cassette fly, public static particle type p underscore split, public static particle type p underscore summit land a, public static particle type p underscore summit land b, and of course, public static particle type p underscore summit land c. Public const float equals max fall. Public const float. Max fall equals 160 float. Private float gravity equals 900 float. Private const float half grav threshold equals 40 float. Private const float fast max fall equals 240 float. Private const float fast max excel equals 300 float. Public const float max run equals 90 float. Public const float run excel equals 100 float. Public const float run reduce equals 400 float. 400 float. Public const float run reduce equals 400 float. Private const float air molt equals 0.65 float. Private const float holding max run equals 70 float. Private const float hold min time equals 0.35 float. Private const float bounce auto jump tile equals 0.1 float. Private const float duck friction equals duck friction. Okay, well, where would we be without duck friction, right? Private const float duck friction equals 500 float. Private const int duck correct check equals 4. Private const float duck correct slide equals 50 float. Should I make an audiobook? I'd have to do a lot of editing or whatever, but I could make an audiobook. You could really get into the Celeste source code cinematic experience. You know, you're sitting in bed late at night and you think, I want someone to read me the Celeste source code, specifically this part that's open source, so I can fall asleep. Wouldn't that be nice? I don't know. This is not something I would do, but there might be a market for it. Let me know down in the comments below. I will do it. If people want it, I will do it. This is a threat. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about duck friction. Private const float duck friction equals 500 float. Private const int duck correct check equals 4. Private const float duck correct slide equals 50 float. Private const float dodge slide speed molt equals 1.2 float. Private const float duck super jump x molt equals 125 float. Private const float duck super jump y molt equals 0.5 float. think I'm gonna stop reading the F's here as floats. I'm just gonna, yeah. 0.1, you can figure it out because it says float right here. I don't have to. Oh, it tells me all the places it's used. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I was gonna do music. Let's put some of that music on. Here we go. And of course, I'll put that in the chat. If you want to know where our music is coming from, of course. And I tested this before stream. If I talk slightly louder, it should be just the right mix. For those audiobook wanters, I assume no music, but let me know, of course. Private const float jump grace time equals 0.1. Private const float jump speed equals -105. Private const float jump h boost equals 40 float. Private const float jump h boost equals 40. Private const float var jump time equals 2. Private const float ceiling var jump grace equals 0.5 or 0.05. Private const ceiling var jump grace equals 0.05. Private const int upper corner correction equals 4. Private const float wall run. Private const float wall speed or retention time equals 0.06. Private const int wall jump check dist equals 3. Private const float wall jump force time equals 0.16. Private const float wall jump speed equals max run plus jump h boost. Private const float wall slide start max equals 20. Private const float wall slide time equals 1.2. Private const float bounce var jump time equals 0.2. Private float bounce speed equals -140. Private const float super bounce var jump time. Private const float private const float super bounce var jump time equals 0.2. Private const float super bounce speed equals -185. Private const float super jump speed equals jump speed. Private const float super jump h equals 260. Private const float super wall jump speed equals -160. Private const float super wall var jump. Private const float super wall jump var time equals 0.25. Private const float super wall jump force time equals 0.2. Private const float super wall jump h equals max run plus jump boost times 2. Private const float dash speed equals 240. Private const float end dash speed equals 160. Private const float end dash up mult equals 0.75. Private const float dash time equals 0.15. 0.15. Private const private const float dash time equals 0.15. Private const float cooldown. Private const float dash cooldown equals 0.25. No. Private. Yeah, this music is a little loud. Hopefully that's still okay. Whatever. I don't. Oh gosh. Private const float. Where was I? I'll just start over from 75. Private const float dash b equals 240. Private const float n dash b equals 160. Private const float n dash up mult equals 0.75. Private const float dash time equals 0.15. Private flow cooldown. Private const float dash cooldown equals 0.2. Private const dash refill cooldown equals 0.1. Private const int dash ape dash jump through nudge. Private const int dash h jump through nudge equals 6. Private const int dash corner correction equals this is hard. Private const int dash corner correction equals 4. Private const int dash v floor snap dist equals 3. Private const float dash attack time equals 0.3. Private const float boost move speed equals 80. Private or public const, oh, got public in here. Private const float boost move speed boost move speed equals 80. Public const float boost time equals 0.25. Private const float duck wind molt equals 0. Private const int wall distance wind private const int private const private const int wind wall distance equals 3. Private const float rebound speed x equals 120. Private const float rebound speed y equals negative 120. Private const float rebound var jump time equals 0.15. Private const float reflect rebound speed equals 220. Private const float dream dash speed equals dash speed. Private const int dream dash end wiggle equals 5. Private const float dream dash min time equals 0.1. Private const float max climb stamina equals 110. Private const float climb up cost equals 100 over 2.2. Private const float climb still cost equals 100 over 10. Private const float climb jump cost equals 110 over 4. Private const int climb check dest equals 2. Private const int climb up check dest equals 2. Private const float climb no move time equals 0.1. Public const float climb tiger threshold equals 20. Private const float climb up speed equals negative 4. Private const float climb up speed equals negative. Private const float. I need a little breath here. A little higher and a little breath here. Private const float. Private const float climb up check dist equals 2. Private const float climb no move time equals 0.1. Public const float climb tired threshold equals 20f. Private const float climb up speed equals negative 45. Private const float climb down speed equals 80f. I'm not reading the f's. I'm not reading the f's. F's. Effervescence. Ugh, I'm using my eyebrows a lot here. 1 out of 500, so we got 50 times left. Private const float climb no move time equals 0.1. Public const float climb tired threshold equals 20. Private const float climb up speed equals negative 45. Private const float climb down speed equals negative 8. Private const float climb down speed equals 80. Private const float climb up speed equals 30. Private const float climb slip speed equals 30. Private const float climb excel equals 900. Private const float grab climb y multi equals 0.2. Private const float climb hop y equals negative 120. Private const float climb hop x equals 100. Private const float climb hop force time equals 0.2. Private const float climb jump boost time equals 0.2. Private const float climb hop y private const float climb hop no wind time equals 0.3. Private const float launch speed equals 280. Private const float launch cancel threshold equals 220. Private const float lift y cap equals negative 130. Equals. Private const float lift x cap equals 250. Private const float jump through assist speed equals negative 40. Private const float infinite dashes time equals 2 fast. Private const float infinite dashes time equals 2. Oh, got a little kitty cat. Oh, come on. Got a little kitty cat down here. I don't know if she's getting picked up on my mic, but she gave me a cute little meow. Let's see. Private const float infinite dashes time equals 2. Private const float infinite dashes first time equals 0.5. Private const float fly power flash time equals 0.5. Private const float throw recoil equals 80. Private static read-only vector 2 carry offset target equals new vector 2 0, comma, minus 12. Private const float chaser state max time equals 4. Private const float walk speed equals 64. Oh, we got a lot of whatever this is. All right. Okay, it's just my posture. Oop. There we go. Public const int st. What's st short for? State. State normal st. I'm not sure you're supposed to pronounce that. It's a mystery to me actually how you're supposed to pronounce that. I think state probably. This looks like a state machine. Here we're just yeah, okay, it's a state machine. So st is short for state. We're gonna pronounce it as such. Public const int state normal equals 0. Public const int state climb equals 1. Public const int state dash equals 2. Public const int state swim equals 3. Public const int state boost equals 4. Public const int state red dash equals 5. Public const int state hit swash equals 6. Public const int state launch equals 7. Public const int state pickup equals 8. 8. Public const int state pickup equals 8. Public const int state dream dash equals 9. Public int state summits launch equals 10. Public const int, I forgot the const on the previous line. Public const int state summit launch equals 10. Public const int state dummy equals 11. Public const int state intro walk equals 12. Public const int state intro jump equals 13. Public const int state intro respawn equals 14. Public const int state intro wake up equals 15. Public const int state bird dash tutorial equals 16. Public const int state frozen equals 17. Public const int state reflection fall equals 18. Public const int state starfly equals 19. Public const int state temple fall equals 20. Public const int state cassette fly equals 21. Public const int state attract equals 22. Public const string talk sfx equals player talk. End region. Region vars. Public vector 2 speed. Public facings facing. Public player sprite. Public player hair. Public state machine. Public vector 2 camera anchor. Public bool camera anchor ignore x. Public bool camera anchor ignore y. Public camera anchor lerp, or public vector 2 public vector 2 camera anchor lerp. Public bool force camera update. Public leader. Public vertex light. Public int dashes. Public float stamina equals climb max stamina. Public bool strawberries blocked. Public bool previous position. Public bool strawberries blocked. Public vector 2 previous position. Public bool dummy auto animate equals true. Public vector 2 forced wind public vector 2 force strong wind hair. Public vector 2 override dash direction. Public bool flip in reflection equals false. Public bool just respawned. True if the player hasn't moved since respawning. Public bool dead. Get private set. Public bool dead. Public bool dead open curlies get semicolon set private public bool dead get private set private level private collision on collide H, private collision on collide V, bool on ground, bool on ground, bool was on ground, int move X, bool flash, bool was ducking. Private float idle timer. Private float idle timer. Private static chooser string. Idle cold options. Oh gosh. Private float idle timer. Private static chooser string. Idle cold options equals new chooser string dot add idle A, 5, add idle B, 3, add idle C, 1. Private static chooser string idle no backpack options equals new chooser string dot add idle A, 1F private static chooser string idle no backpack options equals new chooser string dot add idle A1 dot add idle B3 dot add idle C3. Public static chooser string idle warm options equals new chooser string dot add idle A, 5 dot add idle B, 3. Public int strawberry collection gonna turn the music down just a tad on my end. I'm going to turn it up over here. Okay, let's just turn that down like that. So my lowest note should be higher than its highest. That should be about right. Public int strawberry collect index equals 0. Public float strawberry collect timer. Public float strawberry collect reset timer equals 0. Private hitbox hurtbox. Private float jump grace timer. Private bool auto jump. Maybe I'll just get rid of the music for a sec. I just skip this one. Here we go. Private hitbox hurtbox. Private float jump grace timer. Public bool auto jump. Public float auto jump timer. Private float var jump speed. Private float var jump timer. Private int force move X. Private float force move X timer. Private int hop weight X. If you climb onto a moving solid, snap beside it until you get above it. Private float hop speed. Private float hop weight X speed. Private vector 2 last aim. Private float dash cooldown timer. Private float dash refuel cooldown timer. Public vector 2 dashter. Public float wall slide timer equals wall slide time. Public int wall slide dir. Private int wall slide dir. Private float climb no move timer. Private vector 2 carry offset. Private vector 2 dead offset. Private vector 2 intro ease. Private float intro private private vector 2 dead offset, private float intro ease, private float wall speed retention timer. If you hit a wall, start this timer. If coast is clear within this timer after retained H speed. Private float wall speed retained. Private int wall booster. Private float wall boost timer. If you climb and then do a sideways input within this timer, switch to a wall jump. Oh, sorry, there's no A. Private float wall boost timer. If you climb jump, then do a sideways input within this timer, switch to wall jump. Private float max fall. Private float dash attack timer. List. A private list chaser states. Private bool was tired. Private hash set trigger, triggers inside. Private float highest air Y. Private bool dash started on ground. Private bool fast jump. Private int last climb move. Private float no wind timer. Private float dream dash can end timer. Private solid climb hop solid. Private vector 2 climb hop solid position. Private sound source wall slide SFX. Private sound source swim surface loop SFX. Private float play footstep on land. Private float min hold timer. Public booster current booster. Private booster last booster. Private bool call dash events. Private int last dashes. Private sprite sweat sprite. Private int hair count. Private bool launched. Private float launch timer. Private float dash trail timer. Private list chaser state sound. Active sounds equals new list chaser state sound. Private fma.studio.events instance idle sfx. Private read-only hitbox. Normal hitbox equals new hitbox 8, 11, -4, -11. Private read-only hitbox equals duck hitbox. Sorry. Private read-only duck hitbox. Sorry. Private read-only hitbox duck hitbox equals new hitbox 8, 6, -4, -6. Private read-only normal hurtbox equals new hitbox 8, 9, -4, -11. Private read-only duck hurtbox equals new hitbox 8, 4, -4, -6. Private read-only hitbox starfly hitbox equals new hitbox 8, 8, private read-only hitbox starfly hitbox equals new hitbox 8, 8, -4, -10. Private read-only hitbox starfly hurtbox equals hitbox 6, 6, -3, -9. Private vector 2 normal light offset equals new vector 0, -8. Private vector ducking light offset equals new vector 0, -3. Private list entity temp equals new list entity pair. Public static read only color Private public static read only color and normal hair color equals calc.hexacolor AC3232. Public static read only color fly power hair color equals calc.hexacolor F2EB6D. Public static read only color used hair color equals calc.hexacolor 44B7FF. Public static read only color flasher color equals color.white. Public static read only color 2 dashes color equals calc.hexacolor FF6DEF. Private float hair flash timer. Private color override hair color. Private color This is difficult. It's difficult. It's a little bit difficult to read source code out loud. It's not really designed to be read out loud in this way, you know? No one writes source code thinking, "Oh, what a lovely speech this will make." I'm imagining someone writing source code for a presidential speech, and you think, "Oh, will they know to pronounce the brackets, or will they simply ignore them because they're a little bit inconvenient?" You know, you'd put a little sudo command in your presidential speech, you know, sudo vote for me, see what happens. Not really a thing that's happening. Private vector 2 Private vector2 wind direction. Private float wind timeout. Private float wind hair timer. Alright. Level start intro. Maybe I should... I'm gonna pause the music for a sec. I'm gonna see if I can entertain the crowd with only my voice. I just paused you. With only my voice. Oh, did I skip ahead somehow? Oh no. With only my voice and this source code. Source code. Okay, we already did these. Level start intro. Public enum intro types transition, comma. Alright, maybe I think I'm gonna ignore the commas for now. Public enum intro types transition, respawn, walk in right, walk in left, jump, wake up, fall, temple mirror void, and none. Public intro types. Intro type. Private mirror reflection. Hashtag end region. Hashtag region constructor. /added /removed. I guess this hashtag is a comment. I don't know how C# works. In Rust, a hashtag is actually a piece of code. But we'll just call it hashtag for now. Hashtag. Public player vector2 position player sprite mode colon base new vector2 int position.x int position.y depth equals depth.player tag equals tags.persistent sprite equals new player sprite mode add hair new player hair sprite add sprite hair.color equals normal hair color start hair count sprite equals sprite.hair count hair color equals normal hair color start hair count equals sprite.hair count sweat sprite equals gfx .spritebank.create player sweat add sweat sprite physics collider equals normal hitbox hurtbox equals normal hurtbox oncollide h equals oncollide h oncollide v equals oncollide v states state machine equals new state machine 23 state machine dot set callbacks normal state machine dot set callbacks state normal update null normal begin normal end state machine dot set callbacks state climb update null climb begin climb end state machine dot set callbacks state dash update dash coroutine dash begin dash end state machine dot set callbacks state swim update null swim begin and null state machine dot set callbacks state boost machine state machine dot set callbacks state boost update boost coroutine boost begin boost end state machine dot set callback state red dash update red dash coroutine red dash begin and red dash end state machine dot set callback state hit squash state state machine dot set callback state hit squash state machine dot set callback state hit squash state hit squash this is the final boss of the file so far. State machine dot set callback state hit squash update null hit squash begin null state machine dot set callback state launch update null launch begin null state dot set callback state pickup null pickup coroutine null state machine dot set callbacks state dream dash update null dream dash begin dream dash end state machine dot set callback state summit launch update null summit launch begin null state machine dot set callbacks state machine dot set callbacks state dummy update null dummy begin null state machine dot set callbacks intro walk null intro walk coroutine null State machine dot set callback state intro jump null. Intro jump coroutine null null. State machine dot set callback state intro respawn null null. Intro respawn begin. Intro respawn end. State machine dot set callback state intro wake up null. Intro wake up coroutine null null. State machine dot set callback state temple fall updates temple fall coroutine. State machine dot set callbacks state reflection fall update reflection fall coroutine. Reflection fall begin reflection fall end. State machine dot set callbacks state bird dash tutorial update bird dash tutorial coroutine bird dash tutorial begin and null. State machine dot set callback state frozen update null null null. State machine dot set callback state starfly update starfly coroutine starfly begin starfly end. State machine dot set callbacks cassette fly update cassette fly coroutine cassette fly begin cassette fly end. State machine dot set callback state attract update null attract begin attract end. Add state machine. Other stuff. Add leader equals new leader. New vector2 is 0, -8. Last aim equals vector2.unitx. Facing equals facing.right. Tracer states equals new list tracer state. Trigger inside equals new hash set trigger. Add light equals vertex light. Normal light offset color.white 13264. Add water interaction. Return state machine.state equals state dash. Or state machine, I think it's an or option. I don't know. I'm just going to call it an or until someone corrects me. Add water interaction. Return state machine.state equals state dash or state machine.state equals state reflection fall wind. Add wind mover wind move. Add wall slide SFX equals new sound source. Add swim surface loop SFX equals new sound source. Sprite.onFrame change anim if scene not equal null and not dead. Var frame equals sprite.current animation frame. If anim equals player sprite.run carry and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6, or anim.equals player sprite.run fast and frame equals 0 equals let's call it equals starting over here. If anim.equals player sprite.run carry and frame equals or and frame equal if anim.equals player sprite.run carry and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6 or anim.equals player sprite.run fast and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6 or anim.equals player sprite.run slow and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6 or anim.equals player sprite.run stumble and frame equals 6 or anim.equals player sprite.flip and frame equals 4 or anim.equals player sprite.run wind and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6 or anim.equals idle C and sprite mode equals player sprite mode.metalide no backpack and frame equals 3 or frame equals 6 or frame equals 8 or frame equals 11 or anim.equals carry Theo walk and frame equals 0 or frame equals 6 var landed equals get surface index dot get platform by priority collide all platform position plus vector2 dot unit y comma temp. If landed not equals null, play sfxs dot charmad footstep dot surface index dot param comma landed get steps down index this. Climbing holds. Else if anim dot equals player sprite dot climb and frame equals 5 or anim dot equals player sprite dot else if anim dot equals player sprite dot climb up and frame equals 5 or anim dot equals player sprite dot climb down and frame equals 5. Var holding equals surface index dot get platform by priority collide all solid center plus vector2 dot unit x plus int facing comma temp. If holding not equals null, play sfxx Yeah, play sfxs dot char mad handhold comma surface index dot param comma holding dot get wall sound index this interfacing. Else if anim dot equals wake up and frame equals 19, play sfxs char mad campfire stand. Else if anim dot equals sit down and frame equals 22, play sfxs dot char mad summit sit. Else if anim dot equals push and frame equals 8 or frame equals 15, dust burst fg position plus new vector minus int facing times 5 minus 1. New vector 2 minus int facing minus 0.5 dot angle 1 comma 0. Wow, it's been 40 minutes. It's been 40 minutes and we're not even. As I thought, as I had assumed, the thing that told me how long it would take to read completely lied. So 41 minutes. We are just coming up to 400, line 400. So that is 400 over, what was it, 5400? We're just about 7%. Yeah. Yeah, 54. Yeah, we were just about 7% of the way there. So, what is that? Seven over 100. Okay, so 0.07. Okay, so it should only take about 9.5 hours. I think we may have to cut the stream into multiple chunks. That's okay. That's okay. Sprite.onLastFrame anim. Sprite.onLastFrame equals anim. If scene not equals null and not dead and sprite.current animation ID equals idle and not level dot in cutscene and idle timer is greater than 3. If calc.randomchance 0.2 var next equals empty string. If sprite.mode equals sprite mode.madaline, next level.core mode if sprite.mode equals player sprite mode.madaline, next equals level.core mode equals session.core modes.hot question mark idle warm options colon idle cold options dot choose. Else next equals idle no backpack options dot choose. If not string dot is null or empty next sprite.play next. If sprite.mode equals player sprite mode.madaline, Madeline is more fun to say. If next equals idle b, idle sfx equals play, sfx.char mad idle scratch. Else if next equals idle c, idle sfx equals play, sfxs dot char mad idle sneeze. Else if idle a, idle sfx equals play sfxs dot char mad idle crack knuckle. I only got the one. Cancel special idle sounds if the anim changed. Sprite.onChange equals last, comma next. Last equals idle b if last equals idle b or last equals idle c and next not equals null and next not next dot starts with idle and idle.sfx not equals null. Audio.stop idle sfx. Add reflection equals new mirror reflection. Public override void added scene base.added scene level equals scene as level. Last dashes equals max dashes. If x is greater than level.bounds.center.x and intertype not equals intertypes.none, facing equals facings.left, switch intertype. Case intertypes.respawn. State machine.state equals state inter respawn. Just respawn equals true. Break. Case intertypes.walk in right. intro walk direction equals facings dot right. State machine dot state equals state intro walk break. Case intro types dot walk in left. Intro dot walk sorry. Case intro types dot walk in left. Intro walk direction equals facings dot left. State machine dot state state intro walk break. I want a donut. I could really go for a donut right now. I don't know why. Okay. Case intro types dot walk in right. Intro walk direction equals facings dot right. State machine dot state equals state intro walk break. Intro types dot walk in left. Intro walk direction equals facings dot left. State machine dot state equals intro walk break. Case intro types dot jump. State machine dot state equals state intro jump break. Case intro types dot wake up. Sprite dot play asleep. Facing equals facings dot right. State machine dot state equals state intro wake up break. Case intro types equal dot none. State machines dot state equals state normal break. Sorry, case intro types dot none. State machine dot state equals state normal break. Case intro types dot fall. State machine dot state equals state reflection fall break. Case intro types dot temple mirror void. Case intro types dot temple mirror void. Start temple mirror void sleep break. Intro type equals intro types dot transition start here. Previous position equals position. Public void start temple mirror void sleep. Sprite dot play asleep. Facing equals facings dot right. State machine equals state dummy. State machine dot locked equals true. Dummy auto animate equals false. Dummy gravity equals false. Public override void removed scene. Base dot removed scene. Level equals null. Audio dot stop conveyor loop SFX. For each var trigger and triggers inside, trigger dot trigger equals false. Trigger dot on leave this. Public override scene end scene. Base dot scene end scene. Audio dot stop conveyor loop SFX. Hashtag end region. Hashtag region rendering. Public override void render. Var was equals sprite dot render position. Sprite dot render position equals render position dot var was equals sprite render var was equals sprite dot render position. Sprite dot render position equals render position dot floor. If state machine dot state equals state intro respawn. If state machine dot state equals state intro respawn. Depth effect dot draw center plus dead offset. Hair dot color care dot color intro ease. Else if state machine not equals state star fly. If is tired and flash. Sprite dot color equals color dot red. Else sprite dot color equals color dot white. Setup scale. Reflection dot is rendering and flip in reflection. Setup scale. If reflection dot is rendering and flip in reflection, facing equals facing's negative int facing. Hair dot facing equals facing. Sprite scale x times equals int facing. Sweat scale. If sweat scale dot last animation ID equals idle. Sweat scale. If sweat scale sprite dot last animation ID equals idle. If sweat sprite dot last animation ID equals idle. Sprite dot scale equals sprite dot scale. Else sweat sprite dot scale equals sweat sprite scale. Else sweat sprite dot scale equals sprite dot scale dot y. Sweat sprite dot scale dot x equals math dot abs. Sprite dot scale dot x times math dot sine sprite times math dot sine sweat sprite dot scale dot x. Draw base dot render. Starfly transform. If current animation ID equals player sprite dot start if current animation ID equals player sprite dot start star fly. var p equals sprite.current animation frame divided by float sprite.current animation total frames. Var white equals gfx.game.getAtlasTextures at character/player/start sprite. Var white equals gfx.game.getAtlasText. Var white equals gfx.game.getAtlasSubtexture at characters/players/start star fly white sprite.current animation frame white.draw sprite.render position sprite.origin starfly color times p sprite.scale sprite.rotation 0. Revert scale. Sprite.reflection.x times equals int facing. If reflection.is rendering and flip in reflection, facing equals facing is negative int facing. Hair.facing equals facing. Sprite.render position equals was. Public override debug render camera. Base debug render camera. Collider was equals collider. Collider equals hurtbox. Draw.holorect collider, color.lime. Collider equals was. Hashtag and region. Hashtag region updating. Public override void update. Infinite stamina variant. If savedata.instance.assist mode and savedata.instance.assists.infinite that's infinite stamina equals climb max stamina. Previous position equals position. Vars. Strawberry reset timer. Strawberry reset timer equals minus engine. Strawberry collect reset timer minus equals engine.delta time. If strawberry collect reset timer greater than or equal to 0, strawberry collect index equals 0. Idle timer. Idle timer plus equals engine.delta time. If level not equal null and level.in cutscene, idle timer equals -5. Else if speed not equals 0 or speed.y not equals 0, idle timer equals 0. Underwater music. If not dead, audio.music underwater equals underwater music check. Just respond. If just respond and speed not equal to vector2.0, just respond equals false. Get ground. If state machine.state equals state dream dash, on ground equals on safe ground equals false. Else if speed.y greater than or equal to 0, platform first equals collide first solid position plus vector2.unitY. If first equals null, first equals collide first outside jump through position dot first equals collide first outside jump through position plus vector2.unitY. If first not equals null, on ground equals true, on safe ground equals first.safe. Else on ground equals on ground safe. Else on ground equals on safe ground equals false. Else on ground equals on safe ground equals false. If state machine.state equals state swim, on safe ground equals true. Safe ground blocked. On safe ground. If on safe ground, for each safe ground blocker in scene.tracker.get components safe ground blocker. If blocker.check this, check this. If blocker.check this, on safe ground equals false. Break. Play footstep on land minus equals engine.delta time. Highest air y. If on ground, highest air y equals y. Else, highest air y equals math.min y, highest air. Else, highest air y equals math.min y, highest air y. Flashing. If scene.on interval 0.5, flashing. If scene.on interval 0.05, flash equals not flash. Wall slide. If wall slide dur not equals 0, wall slide timer equals math.max, wall slide timer minus engine.delta time 0. Wall slide dur equals 0. Wall boost. If wall boost timer greater than 0, wall boost timer minus equals engine.delta time. If move x equals wall booster, speed.x equals wall jump h speed times move x, stamina plus equals climb jump cost. Wall boost timer equals 0. Sweat sprite.play idle. After dash. If on ground and state machine.state not equals state climb, auto jump equals false. Stamina equals max climb stamina. Wall slide timer equals wall slide time. Dash attack. If dash attack timer greater than 0, dash attack timer minus equals engine.delta time. Jump grace. If on ground, dream jump equals false. Jump grace timer equals jump grace time. Else if jump grace timer is greater than 0, jump grace timer minus equals engine.delta time. Dashes. Dashes. If dash cooldown timer greater than 0, dash cooldown timer minus equals engine.delta time. If dash refuel cooldown timer greater than 0, dash refuel cooldown timer minus equals engine.delta time. Else if save data.instance.assist mode and save data.instance.assists.dash mode equals assists.dashes dash. Else if save data.instance.assist mode and save data.instance.assists.dash mode equals assists.dash mode dot infinite and not level dot in cutscene refill dash. Otherwise, not inventory, not else if not inventory dot no refills. If state machine equals state, refill dash. Else if on ground, if collide check solid comma nega block position plus vector 2 dot y, collide check outside jump through position plus vector 2 dot unit y. If not collide check spikes position or save data.instance.assist mode and save data.instance.assist.invisible refill dash. Var jump. If var jump timer is greater than 0, var jump timer minus equals engine.delta time. Auto jump. If auto jump timer is greater than 0, if auto jump timer minus equals engine.delta time. If auto jump timer is greater than or equals to 0, auto jump.false. Else auto jump timer equals 0. Force move x. If force move x timer is greater than 0, force move x timer equals if force move timer is greater than 0, force move x timer minus equals engine.delta time. Move x equals force move x. Else move x equals input.movex.value. Climb hop solid equals null. Whew, okay. It's been 58 minutes. I am line 770, huh? Oof, this is taking a lot out of me. Okay, 770. Okay, 14%. So yeah, about 1/7 of the way there. Yeah, this could be 7 streams. You know, each about an hour long. Yeah, if you're listening to this for more than an hour in a row, I respect it, but I also have questions. All right, I'm gonna call that a stream for the night. Thank you everyone who stopped by. Thank you especially to any VOD watchers who watched from start to finish. Hello, thank you. If you're still here for some reason, please subscribe. And yeah, I'll stream this at some other point. All right, have a lovely rest of your day, everybody.